Hi guys, what's going on? Zura over here with some more chess improvement tips. In this video, I want to share with you some of the footage from my Twitch stream a couple of days ago, where I took a stab at puzzle survival on chess.com. If you ask anyone qualified about improvement, how to improve their game, I think one universal answer you're gonna hear, especially for early stages, is tactics. I like to say, same way athlete cannot cheat running, if you want to improve your game of chess, you cannot cheat tactics. All right? Now, before we jump into it, I hope you find some of this thought process helpful. And if you do, let me know in the comments. And also, do subscribe. It helps the channel a lot. All right, let's get into it. Okay, we want to calculate the rule of squares, all right? Now, how does rule of squares work? You want to calculate how many squares do you have left till promotion, all right? So 1, 2, 3, 4, right? And then it's called rule of square. So we need to make a square. So if we have 1, 2, 3, 4, it would be like 1, well, it would be basically, well, oh my god. Oh my god. I was not gonna make a move. I was not gonna make a move. I was just gonna demonstrate how the rule of squares work. Okay, this is terrible. Okay, guys, let's do this again, okay? Let's do this again. We can get to 30 pretty fast. We can get to 30 very fast, okay? Let's see. Okay, let's pretend that didn't happen, okay? Because I really wanted to do, like, test how far I can go on this. I think my record for this was 80, something 80 with Tata. Okay, checkmates, checkmates, checkmates. More checkmates here, and king gets trapped. All right, here we win queen. We were at 30. I'm gonna slow down once I get at 30, okay? All right, some skewer here, we win the queen. So if we take the pawn, I think king will try to catch our pawn. So what we wanna do is we wanna start pushing this pawn. ASAP. Some checks. Some more checks. And now we bring the rook into the game. Pawn checkmate always feel nice. C complex. Wow. Good observation. Good observation, my friend. Did that take you? How long did that take you that realization to come? You know, sometimes it's wild, right? You play the game for 2 decades. You know, I'm also talking from my personal experience. You play the game for over the 2 decades, and you have this simple realization that you never thought before. Jim, I haven't talked to Tata in a minute, but she's playing American Cup right now, right? I think she was playing the elimination today. All right, checks and captures. Queen d1 should be the first check, I believe. King will come forward, and then what? And then what? Then we bring the knight to e4, or we bring knight to d5? Probably e4, king will go to c4. Yeah, check there, king c4. There. Knight, king c4. Yeah, this one looks tricky, okay. Around around 1500. So check, king c3, king e4, king c4. If we go bishop e6, king runs to b5. We do have queen b3 check and takes the queen on the next move. So could that be it? I don't see the checkmate, so I think taking the queen is good. I don't see the checkmate either. Knight d5. What? It was a one move. Okay, typical inevitable checkmate here. We go queen c6, create a threat, and opponent cannot defend. We wanna promote the pawn. Rook will go to g5, check, right? And then we'll go king h4. If king goes back to g7 to catch the pawn, we'll just take the rook. So we don't want to go to f4 because then rook h5, and that will stop the pawn. Alright, so looks like material is completely equal here. We both have two knights and two rooks, and we are getting checkmated. So we definitely need to eliminate this rook. That would probably be possible by knight g5. Fork, but king will come to f4 to take our rook as well. So we'll take the rook, but white king will also take e5. And then we have the final, then we have a final trick. The second knight here. So you do not stop calculating until you still have active moves available. All right? If you still have checks available, you do not stop calculating. All right? You only stop calculation when there are no more active moves available. There is a nice forky fork. Nice forky fork. Okay. All right, let's go. Queen f6. Combinatorial, got it. All right, 1700. We are approaching the ranks of 1700s. Now what? Now what? Let's go here. Knight h2, nice one. C complex, you're too good for this. So we start with active moves, right? Checks, threats, captures. We go queen e1, but once king goes to f3, we do not stop calculating until we still have checks available. And that was the check that we had available. Well done, well done. All right, now what? We are into an endgame. Black king is on c4, so it is very unlikely that we'll be able to checkmate this king. We cannot fathom checkmating that king quite yet. All right? So what we probably want to do or try to do here is try to create a passer. How can we create a passer here? I think take and run the pawn. Yeah, exactly. I like that. Take and run the pawn. Yeah. All right. 1730 was the last one. Now we have an equal position. Looks like, okay, if you had to bet, guys, the quick one, okay? Quick one. If you had to make a bet, what opening was this? What opening did this come out from? What would be your bet? Quick one, 5 seconds. I think Caro-Kann, no? I think this is most likely came out from Caro-Kann. e4, c6, d4, d5, knight c3. You know, knight takes e4, and we already have that pawn structure. It's definitely either Caro-Kann or Scandi. It's one of those two. Caro-Kann or Scandi for sure. Queen h5. All right, g6 to attack that guy. Okay, this was one of those weird type of puzzles where you take a lot of things. Oh, this is a good one. All right, the last puzzle was 1800. Cool. Yes, we want to start with checks, right? Yep, we start with queen d4 check. Now if queen takes, bishop will still be taking. And then we'll take the knight. If king moves on the side, we'll take the queen and then take the knight anyways. All right, yep, queen takes, and then we take the knight. Back to pawn endgames here. Obviously, we cannot push the pawn, then king will go to b6 and try to take this pawn. So I think we should simply try to take the pawn and then take this one as well. And if king goes towards c5, we will run the pawn. Let's quickly calculate how many moves does white need till promotion and how many moves do we need. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Oof, we are way closer. 1, 2, 3, 4. It doesn't even need to be like calculated move by move. What's the difference between b5 and b takes a5? I think on b5 combinatorial, white king can try to go king e5. Yep, exactly. You're right. C complex. The white will now go for this pawn, okay, to eliminate our f pawn. And we might actually be losing that. There's a very good chance we are losing that. Let's say b5, king e5. If you go f4, king e4 back. And then, let's say king g4, h6, f3. Yeah, we might actually lose that. Most likely we are losing that because king is much closer to our pawn. So we don't want to give our opponent that kind of chances. All right, what is going on here? So material-wise, let's. There are a lot of things hanging here. So let's count the material first. We have 1, 2, 3, 4 minor piece. Opponent has 3 minor piece. So we have piece right now for 2 pawns. But black does have here some counterplay. The knight on g6, yeah, is keeping h4 covered. Black probably takes on h2, right? There's also a move queen h4 actually. After knight takes h8. Knight e4, knight takes back e4, queen takes e4, just takes there, so nothing, right? Okay, no, I think I don't quite see anything else here. I think we will have to go for the material. Knight takes h8. If knight takes h1, I believe we can play queen h7, and we're just, looks like we're just a piece up, because queen is covering the h4 square from there. And that should be an extra piece. A little more worrisome is take there, queen h4. Takes, queen h4, maybe we have knight f3 move. Yeah, exactly. We have knight f3, knight d3 check, king d2, right? Looking good. Knight f3, what if queen g3? Knight takes h8, should we go for it? This is 2000. Alright, let's go for it. Oh, knight h1, easy. Take just simply queen takes h7? Or do we go knight f3? Yeah, queen h7 looks good, right? Queen h7 is looking good. Okay, on that we'll just take it there as well. Bishop f2 check, we just run away king d1 and the other side. Okay. All right, let's start with checks. Queen a8 is the first check that I see. King will go probably to g7, and then what? Then what do we do? Do we go queen g8? King will go to h6. We'll go queen f8. King will go to g5. Queen g7. And then what? And then something's... And we are already very close to the king, so something's gotta happen there, huh? I guess king can hide to f5, but I'm thinking we can take rook e5 and then take on... Alright, do we all like that line? Queen a8 check, king g7, queen g8, king h6, queen f8 check, king g5, queen g7. Okay, we like it. Let's go. Oh, it ended after queen f8. All right. Oh, now what? Now what? So we wanted to start with checks, available checks, right? What are all our available check? One would be queen b1 check. Another one would be knight h3, and we also have knight f3. Three possible checks, right? So now we can go with the method of elimination and see which one works best. So queen b1, king will just run on h2, nothing. If we take on h3, king again, knight, king h2, nothing. So we want to go to f3 and then go to b1. So we are down material, we have sacrificed the rook, but king is in the center, right? King is here on d6. So how do we take advantage of that? What are possible checks? Possible checks here we have is queen d5 one, but king runs back to e7. See, complex, we can't claim the draw. Knight is on h6. So what are other checks that we have available? We also have d takes e5, f takes e5, right? Because if king takes, then queen d5 would be a checkmate. F takes e5 will go queen d5. King will have to go back to e7, and then we take on e5 with the checkmate, actually. King is getting checkmated there. If king runs this way, queen d5, queen b5, that would be too much to handle. Well, that's what ended up happening. All right, we have successfully crossed 2000. Now what? This is actually too easy, I feel like, after 2000, no? Doesn't this look too easy, guys, to you? Look at that pin. Look at that pin. This is too easy. Okay. I'm gonna move on. All right, what is up here? Okay, rook c1. Yeah, rook c1 looks the most natural, right? However, okay, if we go rook c1, exactly, rook goes to h7 check and then takes the pawn. Yep. I think only rook will not be able to stop these pawns if they are protecting each other and if king is not close by, right? If king is not on time to catch. So we can trade the rook here, and after it takes, just run the pawn. Yep, and that should win because king doesn't get back on time. 2167. The rook. That's correct. And then we checkmate. Okay, here we just need to avoid tricks. What are the tricks? Right, the double check first, and once king takes, now where does the king go? All these squares are covered by the knight, so we'll just check from the h5. All right, this looks a little more tricky, but I think I see it. So we want to take the advantage of uncomfortable placement of that queen and the bishop. So that is correct, okay? Now bishop is vulnerable there. So we want to threaten the queen. We don't want to obviously go immediately rook e8 because our rook is hanging with the check. So we take on d6 first and then go rook e8, right? And we win the queen, or there is a checkmate on f8. If we push h4, then pawn takes. Okay? So first, I think we want to improve the position of our bishop and worsen the position of opponent's rook on b1. How can we accomplish that? Let me ask you a simple question. Do you guys think we can improve the position of our bishop, or in general, just restrict the movement of white rook completely. Right. We go bishop g5 first, put the bishop on c1, and then basically we are playing the pawn endgame, king and 2 pawns versus king and 1 pawn there. Plan it. You see it? Computer just took there because it would be just a simple king set pawn endgame. All right, 45. Oh, nice. 96 is beautiful, huh? So if we take the rook immediately, king will run on g7, and then check, king will get on the run on f6 and so on, right? And we're queen down. First, actually, before we jump into solving, we always want to evaluate, right? Obviously, count the material and look at the king. So when we look at the material, it becomes clear we are way behind. We are down a queen. So our only hope is a checkmate, all right? So rook d8 was one option, knight e6 was another option. Knight goes to e6 there and takes on f8. Rook h4 does work. So we start with checks, right? g4 is one. We don't want to do that. Takes on h4 is another one, and queen g4, right? So takes, pawn takes, we have a nice checkmate, right? There, queen f3, rook g3, g4, checkmates. That is true. If we take and king gets on the run to g2, we just take on h2, I guess, right? Yeah. What is up here? What's up here? Takes there. So we both promote. Then what? The question is, then what? What if we take there, a3, and we go bishop b1 to stop the pawn? Oh, d3? Oh, d3. So takes there, d3, there. We promote at the same time. And on d3, if king e3 trying to catch the d pawn as well, then bishop f5 stops our pawn as well. Okay, this is a little tricky, and we're approaching 2500, so I think it makes sense for it to get a little tricky. So the catch there was we take there, bishop b1, d3, h7, d2, and then bishop c2 to stop that pawn from promoting. All right, and now if a2, we go h8 and we cover the a1 square. Very nice. Let's go. Oh wow. Okay. That makes sense, my friend. I guess now just we protect it, right? Yeah. All right, 2550 was the last one. We've crossed 2550. What now? What if we just run the pawn? What's wrong with just running the pawn? So queen d5 doesn't make sense because we'll promote. I guess b6, queen c2 probably. Yeah, I like it. I mean, there's nothing else to say. We protect the knight and then we promote our pawn. There's nothing to add there. Ansko got it fair and square. Now we're in the 2600 land. Takes and d5. Okay, rook takes h3, king moves on the side, and then d5, right? What does white do there? Knight d6 check, with knight d6, rook e6, we have rook g3 with the check. If we go d5 immediately, they will just go knight f2 to protect it. Yeah, I think rook h3, d5 looks good. Rook h1. Now if we take rook h3, but we can just take on h1 first, and then take the knight.